Well, I think one of the biggest benefits that we get as shop owners or operators is that we get to see it with our own eyes in real time, the new blood coming into the hobby, right? We see them coming in the door, we see them coming back through the door, we see them bringing their friends. The groups that come in grow and grow and grow, and it's word of mouth, and you see the hobby spread organically right before your eyes, whereas a lot of online businesses or other types of businesses don't get to see it in real time. We hear about it and we see it through social media and whatnot, but in the shop, in the trenches, we see, the new blood coming into the hobby, and it's really encouraging because it's growing and it's growing exponentially, and the new blood coming in, it's an exciting group. It really is.
The DJ ski comment that you made was interesting because first I remember going into a card shop in the 90s in Tasmania, which is an island underneath Australia. And I opened my first packet and I got a Jordan behind the glass from Upper Deck Special Edition, maybe. And it was a beautiful card, stunning card. Everyone in this room knows what it is. And anyway, I sold it to the card shop owner. He gave me some packs, and I didn't really get it. But when I opened my store in 2015, someone came in and they sold me a really cruddy one, like really shit. But I bought it and I stuck it on the cash register, because you have bad days. I'd come out and I'd look at it and it would remind me, like, okay, this is good. This is where it started, and it realigned me. And then just during the boom, 2019, 2020, I managed to buy a PSA 10 behind the glass. Cost me a fortune, and it showcased to me that kind of the passion obviously is at the core of all of this, whether you're a collector, an owner, but the stages of it too. At some point in time, maybe I'll meet Jordan. I don't know. Like, it keeps developing. I think it's really beautiful.
Do you guys have a Grail card that you would one day like to own, or if you came across it, you wouldn't it'd be like a sell my collection to have card?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the champ ticket Brady. Just grew up in New England. My whole I'm 33. My whole childhood, my whole adulthood has been Tom Brady. He's who my personal collection is centered around. It's a lot of what we do in the shop, being in New England. And the champ tickets, by far his best rookie. That's the card.
Well, me too. I'm just a Kentucky kid. I would say, actually, I've got a unique one. It's a Satchel Paige, the Leaf rookie, I believe it is. 48. The 48 with the yellow background. I read a book on Satchel Paige. This is how this stays with you, right? When I was 11, he became a hero. And then you're like, oh, there are only 3. I want a card of Satchel Paige. And then there are only 3 of them, and they're not cheap. When I was 11 or now. And I've gotten the other ones, the 53 Tops and the 49 Bowman, but that's a big boy, and that's what I'm waiting on. And I actually got to go to it's the Negro League Baseball Hall of Fame in Kansas City. I've been 3 or 4 times and met the president and all that. Now I very much like to be able to get that, and even if I got a great one, to let them showcase it there, and that's a special one. But yeah.
Mine is, you'll laugh, Grayson, is my Steve Irwin. I have a Crocodile Hunter Beckett 9.5 autograph, and someone sent a picture of it, and I said, I want it. It's like, when we haven't even talked price, I'm like, I don't give a real rat's ass, just send it to me. Right. And then I was like, okay, I gotta find the wife. And that took me months to try to find that. And finally someone goes, I know somebody who wants this card. And you just literally send it. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm paying for it, but I'll just send you money. And those are the 2 cards that just are not going anywhere.
You can't fake that feeling,
Yeah.
On that story. You can't.
No, I was trying to get it.
Right. Like, it's real. And it doesn't matter what age you are or what you do. Like, that's the beauty of
I'm an animal lover, and he was what we are. His excitement, what he did every day for television, is exactly what we do.
Correct.
And we don't have to put our hand in an alligator stung by a stingray, R.I.P. But
Great Danes.
Yeah.
What about you, Jess?
This is hard for me. I have a bunch that I would love to have. I'd say 2 big ones, probably a Derek Jeter SP foil, PSA 10. Like, Derek Jeter's my PC. My other PC is Patrick Mahomes. I don't care. I will defend him till the day I die. I just love the way he plays, the whole, like, tongue out when he's throwing. I don't have a, like, I would love an NT RPA. Like, why not? It's just what I've gotten into. I'm younger. I mean, I would love a 52 mantle, but that's asking for a lot. So, I guess that's my Holy Grail card. I just like, also, I was asked this earlier today, and I think a lot of my Grail cards I don't even know about yet. I think that when people say that, it's like, I have a big collection. I don't sell a lot, but I would like one day to turn that into a card I see, and I haven't seen it yet. I want that, and then I'll sell my collection. And I'm sitting on it till I find that card. So.
Also, I collect sealed wax.
Yes,
If you come into our store, we have a lot of it there's one display case of like unbelievable wax, and that's what I truly collect. And somewhere in our safe, there's an 0304 exclusive box. There's a few other things that never going to go out, it just stays in there. And there is I got one more PC that Ty got me a couple years ago. Where is she? Ty?
She's talking over there.
Yeah, figured probably not listening to us.
Yeah,
whatever.
She's like the kid in the bag with glasses. She was talking to me. I wasn't talking to.
Yeah. So Tom Fish has an Allen and Ginter. And Tom and I have it's one of my favorite cards. So Tom and I have this great relationship back and forth. So Tom signed it to Mitch, F.U. Tom Fish. And I don't know if Tom is here in the room, but I love it. And so I talked to Tom, and one of my foot card, I signed it to him to Tom F off. And so so those are those three cards. I love that card.
Grayson, besides the Steve Irwin that Mitch stole from you.
Yeah.
Stole out from under you. Yeah, but.
I think that if I could get any card, I'd probably want the Mbappe Panini Prism World Cup gold or the black variation. I think there's a black variation, I'm not sure. Definitely the gold. I think he's going to become the undisputed most successful soccer player of all time, and I think that he'll be the Michael Jordan of his era. I think soccer's about to become a giant, and he will be the number one guy when it does. So.
Can I say one thing real quick? I was just sitting here thinking.
You can say more than one thing if you'd like, Jimmy.
So it's just interesting. I mean, you look around this room, it's like everybody here knows what we've been saying and the importance of it, and they can see it growing. And it's like when you're talking about the future of hobby shops, what are you missing? What do we say that up here that we see that's truly important that maybe not a lot of people are thinking about? And to me, it's the data. It's the data collection and slicing and dicing that is not normal in the old hobby shops. When you're not in New York and LA, but especially in New York and LA, but when you're like, what can we do that retains value over time? And so much of the time it's, I wish we were keeping track of that then. I wish we were keeping track of that.
Sending our data to Card Ladder is what you're
saying. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But you think about it, the future of hobby shops and the success of them, I think, is going to not only depend on us creating the right environment and marketing the right way and doing all the things that we're already trying to do and what everybody out here is trying to do, but it's saying, okay, we're selling this much amount, like especially between our shops. Okay, Collegiate Contenders is not going to sell a lot in New York and Sonoma, but we're going to sell a ton in Dallas and Lexington. Okay, let me reroute these boxes to this because I'm looking at the seasonality of this data. What about the single, like everybody goes to eBay for setting the market. What about the transaction that takes place on an $8,000 card with me and Mitch in LA? Or me at Gillette?
You can report that private sale to Card Ladder.
That's right, but like, are we looking at that within our organization?
Turned into an infomercial.
Well, no, I think that's the important about it. What can we talk about that truly is that people need to start thinking about beyond the obvious? And to me, it's about, are we recording? Okay, are you taking the time in that shop on a crazy day This guy brought in this Brady. He wanted $8,000 for it. I paid him $6,000. I sold it for $7,000. You know, different things like that, where that data becomes valuable in and of itself, and also helps make me more efficient as an owner, and all of y'all as an owner going forward.
Well, I think that's, to my earlier point about us being hyper-focused on the technology that's backing our company, that's what's so critical to the card shop going forward, right? Whether it's ours or anybody else in the room or anybody else in the larger room. Being able to take actionable insights on your customers and gather actionable insights, gather data that you can take action on as a business, whether it be, like Jimmy said, retargeting product, or whether it be moving product to different locations if you have a multi-location, infrastructure, and being able to retarget customers or to market to customers based on buying activity, or being able to go back and look at your transaction data, having an idea of how cards have transacted within each store over time, what products are selling at what location most effectively, what your customer base looks like in a certain region versus another. Those are all the types of things that having the right technology in place are going to allow you to use to scale your business, right? And that's what this industry's challenge has been challenged with for so long, is scalability, right? And that's, I think, what Mitch has done, and what some other shops and what you've done, but I think historically have done, is you've been able to scale, or we've been able to scale in an industry that has had challenges scaling because of the nature of the products that we deal with, right? Retail wax or hobby wax is one thing. That's more of a traditional retail product, but you start dealing with singles and raw cards, that is a huge inventory challenge. So if we can tackle that and make sure that we have the ability to tackle that with technology, I think that's super critical to us all getting to where we want to be as an industry, right? Whether it's not just Bullpen wanting to become 50 stores, the hobby having 10 different Bullpens with 50 stores.
So we did what we've done, because we help out. So we own the 4 stores, and then we help out like 5 other stores in Los Angeles that come and help. We call those our umbrella of friendships. There's certain stores. There's one in Santa Monica. He can't get allocation, so he comes to us for wax, and we allocate him out from our allocation. One of our managers developed a spreadsheet from the last 6 years of every wax, from all 4 majors: soccer, MMA, WWE, F1, and it's spread to our 8 guys. So everybody's the same price. So no matter what, and I update it daily, hourly. If you see F1 going up, you better believe I'm on there changing it. And I'll leave a little note like, guys, check this price. So they all have the same price. So we're all on that same page. So that's one of the other things that we have for issues that we have with stores. And I'd love to actually ask everybody else. You have problems with people going on and calling at the stores and running around. We've solved that problem in Southern California for us. That you can't go to another store and not go, oh, well, the Bullpen's charging $800, why are you charging $900? No, Bullpen's charging the same price we're charging, because they know that we're in that same system. And prices change so fast on wax that we don't price any wax, because it changes so often. I talk to at least a group of you guys on a daily basis, if not more than once, about pricing. And again, it's getting our community to work harder together will make us stronger.
Work smarter, not harder.
Jess mentioned. Sorry.
No, I was just saying efficiency.
Jess mentioned it earlier about partnerships, and inventory of singles is it's impossible. There literally is very few platforms that are available where you can actually get that level of inventory, even skewed, let alone the cost of that's insane. So partnerships with ComCs, PWCCs, eBays, where you may be losing a cut of those cards, but all of the handling and the skewing and the sale of it is handled by another party. That's really big, and I think it applies in every single segment. You talk about partnerships in stores, but it's everything.
Yeah. So at Card Vault, with our 2 new locations coming and a 4th location in the works, we also have built and are operating a warehouse, a centralized warehouse location that feeds at least that region, the New England region, or will feed the New England region. And from an inventory management perspective, especially on the single side, we have a process and a system in place that we designed and built that allows us at a store level to manage singles with a barcode system and have the ability to mass upload, mass change, mass move, lots, singles, individuals, whatever. And for us, that's been super critical in us being able to make conviction plays on adding stores, right? Because making the decision to add a store is a big decision. You need to know that you can handle the challenges that that's going to bring from an inventory perspective. So having a system in place like that and a centralized warehouse where we can then also distribute wax to our different locations is what's allowing us to overcome the challenges that we kind of foresaw from a scalability perspective. But there's different ways to slice it, right? And I think partnerships is a really interesting one, right? Where there's already companies that have made huge investments in managing inventory that you could potentially look at partnering with. There's technology platforms out there that help you manage inventory, whether it be at a personal collection level or even at more of a business level. But making sure that you have some sort of system in place and you're not just buying, selling, and trading cards and creating a mountain of who knows what. That's where you start to run into big challenges.
That to me is the future, right? Right? That tackling that, like all the other stuff is now, which we're all doing, and the future. But the real future is tackling that data, that efficiency. That's what we have to get under control. And it goes back to the Swift kick, which I was talking about earlier, which is now people are starting to really put the money in to figure that out. Bingo.
All right. Well, we're out of time, but if anyone has a question, there is a microphone on your stage right side. Oh, they'll walk up to you. If anyone has a question, a microphone will be delivered to you. I see. Yeah.
It's always nice when there's questions.
I think so. I mean, like, they're here for like your insights, and let's like answer not just the questions we have of each other, but what they actually want to hear, right?
Yeah. Is this on?
Yes.
Okay. Two topics actually, and hopefully this doesn't get too long. First question I have is regarding accounting for you guys. Do you all have somebody on staff that handles all your accounting bookwork? And at what stage did you add somebody to your staff that's on payroll for accounting?
Yeah, so I'll go first and get this out of the way. We have the luxury, I mentioned earlier in the intro, we're part of a bigger nightlife entertainment company. The reason I chose to partner with Big Night was because of resources like that were available. So we have accounting on staff and all of that. So we had that luxury. So I'll let these guys, talk about from an organic perspective whether or not.
So we farm it out, but luckily with a career in banking, I've got the best guy in the world to do that to, that I wanted to do it because it's so complex. But it was day one. Day one, I wanted that right, because I can't imagine the audit that eventually I'm sure happened with this, like, oh my God. But I've been looking at a full-time comptroller, and to me it is a vital piece of this. You get that in place day one. If I didn't know this guy just from my previous career, I would have had a full-time on staff all the time. And I do have one guy that is full-time on staff that is talking to that person at this accounting firm every day. Every day.
We have one where then she's just catching up. There's ridiculous amount of paperwork that she's getting caught up, but it's a lot of work.
Mitch is going to jail.
Right now, it's me. Right now,
Please, in the back, if you could burn the tapes after
don't
this.
record this. Right now, for us, it's me and my staff. So again, we just started the whole wax. We get one distributor, and then Monster Breaks is opening a card shop, and they actually distribution kind of like you do. We get the lists, and we have a great relationship partnership with them. So I'm able to keep count of everything, but we do have a outside, bookkeeper. But right now it's just me. But probably the next month or two, we're gonna hire somebody on staff full time because we're opening in Cleveland. But we need to have the technology, and we're getting that. So we don't want to mess it up before we get too big, and that's why we haven't scaled. Because everybody's heard the name. Like, we're literally, you see our hats everywhere. And we're trying to scale, but before we do that, I say let's make sure our pillars are good. Make sure they're secure. Because the worst thing you can do is expand and not know what you're doing and not have the right
When you
relationships.
go into different states, you all say, "Oh, this tax is different here, and in Texas it's by county." And oh my God,
Yes.
stab myself in the cheek with a spork. Like I need somebody that does that all day, every day, not me.
So
I'm gonna use that quote.
That's
Is
just
it
happened.
work?
Yeah,
Stab
sorry, I'm
myself in
redneck.
the cheek with a spork.
Sport.
Oh,
Spork.
Yeah.
that's
All
what
right.
it sounds
a
like.
Spork. Okay. Yeah.
Because it's a high transaction and low margin sort of industry. I'd recommend getting a bookkeeper early. I went about a year and then I just got sick of it and made too many mistakes. So I got a bookkeeper early. Had a bookkeeper that was enough for maybe 5 years, and then when you start getting sort of serious, we brought on a CFO and an accountancy firm about a year ago, and that is about risk management, because if you start to make the same mistakes that you might make at the start at scale, then yeah, you're talking about court time. So it's important.
And it's such a unique industry, right? Like even we have a CFO, we have 3 accountants, and they're learning how to account for our industry and how we do deals and how we do transactions, and is a trade revenue, is a trade not revenue, is all of that, and how we we recognize revenue as a business. That's why you need professionals. So definitely earlier the better, for sure.
And then the other topic I was going to ask real quick, how important is it for you guys to look at diversity in what you are inventorying, what you're dealing with? So like not just sports cards, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering stuff, but talking about comic books, talking about things like Funko Pops and stuff like that. How diverse are you guys in that type of atmosphere, and how far does that go?
I think you learn and learn from your customer on day one, and you continue to learn from them, right? The people that come in your shop, you understand what they're looking for, you understand what the region you're in is looking for, what the demographic of your customer base is going to look like, and that'll help you kind of curate each store. And that's, at least from my perspective, how we've learned at Gillette. Our inventory is skewed for not just the New England football market, but also a huge influx of traveling fan bases. So, the Cowboys are in town, and we're carrying Dak Prescott, and the Jets are in town, we're carrying Zach Wilson. So we move inventory and cycle inventory in and out. But from a product perspective, you'll learn once your customers start opening the door, you'll learn exactly what they're looking for.
It goes back to the data. Are you keeping the data right so you can go back and look at it? Oh, the Cowboys in town, we sold some more Cowboys that week than we did the rest of the year. Do we have it in stock? And that's big. Same with us. Again, it's going to be different nationwide, but Kentucky basketball, Reds, Bengals, we've got to have that at all times in our Kentucky shop. Because we're an hour from Cincinnati. It drives the market. They're not going to need that in Sonoma. All right? Well, how are we allocating and running this efficiently to stock that? But yeah, Pokemon, all that. We've got all that, but it takes a little bit of living into it. We got to live into your shop for a little bit, then make your decision.
100%.
Live into it, and then that's how we call it.
Like in Gillette, we have to carry a ton of retail wax because we get a ton of moms and dads that bring in their 9, 10, 12-year-old kid. That's a big part of our customer base. So we've had to kind of restructure how we display wax. We certainly carry a ton of hobby wax, but we have a huge retail wax display that we've grown by 5x because of that kind of learning.
They just want the $60 box, not the flawless.
That's right. They don't
They're
want the
here for the
$6,000
game. Let's
box.
get
They want the
them
$60 box.
right.
I want to walk in with a couple of singles and go watch the Patriots play.
I'll get the
We do.
flawless.
I ask questions. When I first started working at Bleecker, I had one of the kids, the guy I was working with, who's an intern at the time. I said, I want you to literally open up a spreadsheet, and I want you to put down how old the person is, ask them where they're from, what do you collect? And that's where I brought in all of the wax that we had. So our original thing was, all high end. It's never gonna work. It's completely no. So we carry everything now. So we always ask, what do you collect? What are you looking for? The kids like the singles. We have packs now. We were an unconventional card shop. We don't even have counters, but because we're a very small space in New York City, and we have problem with foot traffic. So one day we'll see 2 people. One day we'll see 15 people, and maybe 3 of them speak English. But still, what do you collect? and we get the international people coming in. So I think that's how we curate our product, is just asking nonstop and keeping the data of that. And now I was like, how can I get WWE? How can I get women's soccer? Because we have customers coming in. I said, I can get it for you. It will be here in a few days.
Yeah.
Shipping from Arizona.
Yeah.
Or it's coming from, let me call like GTS, let me call the few resources we have at our disposal, and let me see what I can get in for you. So I think it's really, we curate our own based off what we can do and what our customers want. So just asking a simple question is so important, because that's where you're going to get your data. If you don't ask, you're not going to find out.
Right.
For us, we've been doing Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and Magic since 2003, and then we've grown so much that we had to actually open a store for just the game. We carried a bunch of Funko. At one point, we had 7,000 Funko in our gaming store until Funko decided to open their own store, and it just died. So we just called one person and took them all out, and we just keep expanding. Gaming stuff is really difficult. You have to, again, what Jess said, is you have to know your customer. I wouldn't get really, if you can get into Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, after that, it's really tough to get into any of the other games. The Warhammers, it's really, board games had its time. But so you just have to kind of know your customers. Bring a couple boxes in. If it doesn't work, you can move the boxes. But I wouldn't jump in a huge inventory unless you found what your niche is.
Right.
And again, community. You pick up the phone, you call I'm sure any of us more than happy to answer any question. Anytime.
Absolutely.
All right, one more question. Yeah.
The legend.
Kristina and Jess, I just want to say, first of all, it is fantastic to see two females up on the stage.
Yes.
So I have a two-part question. The first one is, what brought each of you into the industry initially? Which came in. And the second piece is for everybody on the panel, which is anybody here, does anybody here have any programs specifically to try and bring girls and females into the hobby?
You want to start?
Go ahead.
All right. So I got into it because I have two brothers. My dad worked 6-7 days a week, and I didn't get a lot of time with him, but every Saturday he would take my brothers and I to the card shop. And I wanted to go to Toys R Us and get Barbies sometimes, or like pet store and buy a bird, random stuff. But long story short, I was collecting with them, and that got me into it. And when I got back into it, I was just bored, and I just had a passion for sports. And the cards and the collectibles just was so interesting to me. I would spend hours late at night watching, breaks from all the different breakers, and I was known as J-Min because I didn't really put it out there that I was a girl. So they thought my profile picture was like my girl, like I was a guy, and that was my girlfriend. So when I told a bunch of the guys, I'm a female, my name's Jess, they're like, oh my God, that's so cool. So that was even cooler. And then I got on Facebook and started collecting there. And then about 2 years ago, I got the opportunity from my friend Jonathan Rotunda to start breaking, because he was a breaker. And I was in his live, and I was like, I wish I could do this. I love opening cards. I wish I could be a breaker. And he said, you can. What are you talking about? I can. Who would want to watch me? He's like, a lot of people. You'd be surprised. If you know what you're talking about, what you do, you can do it. And so I thought a lot about this because I was nervous. I was like, there's no female breakers. But he put a lot of money and time and effort into me. And he taught me to invest in myself because he was willing to go on the line to do so. And 2 years later, I'm still breaks with Jess. And I got the opportunity to work at Bleecker full time and make it my career and still have my own brand. So that's really special to me, that's, as a woman, it being difficult. I've gotten so many comments, and a lot of people don't take me seriously, but a lot of people do. Like in this room, Jeremy France, big one of my customers, Sully, who I break with, the Monster Crew, so many of you, my team at Bleecker, they just support me, and that's what drives me every day. And it's so cool to be here. This was a last minute thing, and Kristina was like, yeah, Jess is gonna come on board. I met Kristina, and she was instantly my friend, because you know, it's
I'm just
hard.
amazing. That's what it is.
Yeah, and it's hard to find like-minded people in this hobby, especially a like-minded woman and a strong woman who's gonna sit here and I'll tell you like it is. And that's my strength and my weakness. If you don't like me, too bad. And it's hard to have that confidence at a young age and in this community and hobby, but I'm here. And that's super important to me. And, you know, working at Bleecker, the owner, Mark Zablo, he said, I don't want to have women trade nights because I don't want women to think I'm just supporting them on that day. He wants every trade night to make sure there's women there and we care. If there's anything we can do for women in the hobby, I want to support that whole group. Not just one event, not just donating or something. He's like, how can I sponsor this group of females? And he always, it's so nice because the men I work with, they always ask my opinion and ask if I'm comfortable doing this or around this. And they always make sure that I'm thought of and I know that I'm thought of. And that's the biggest thing. And having, you know, a strong woman by my side, like Kristina right here, is just, it makes me want to come up here and speak for the first time in front of, you know, coworkers and my customers, and just the support I feel now is greater than ever. So that's, you know, thank you guys.
Let's go.
You all can blame Chris for getting me into the hobby in 2016. We had just graduated college, and he and I went back to his parents' house for 2 weeks, and his mom told him to clean out his childhood bedroom, and he found his old basketball cards in the closet, and then spent 2 weeks on his living room floor with all of his cards laid out and looking at cards and going to eBay and finding places to buy and sell and just try to find those cards that he wanted as a kid. And I was decompressing after 2 weeks of, or 4 years of college and being super stressed. And during those 2 weeks, he said, do you want to go on an adventure and go to a card shop and buy some packs and rip it? And I was like, yes, please. Like, let's go have some fun. And my first hobby box was 2015 Donruss basketball. And I pulled a Karl Anthony Towns Elite Dominators out of 25 signature, which was the best card you could buy, like, from that product. And I've been chasing that high ever since. That is my dragon, and every time I rip wax, I think of that moment when I pulled that Karl Anthony Towns like the same week he was announced as Rookie of the Year, and that's what drives me. Like, I'm a degenerate pack ripper, as Mitch knows. And then I met Ty and Mitch when we moved out to LA, and Mitch let me guest break because it was a dream of mine to break cards and have people pay me to break for them the boxes I couldn't afford myself. So that was fun, and been collecting since 2016.
What's your hashtag?
What?
What's your hashtag to pull a big card?
Wicked fucking boom.
Yes.
Because I'm from Connecticut, and Mitch makes fun of me for liking Brady. And in Connecticut, as the New Yorkers and Bostonians know, you can do both accents. So because we're right on the border between the two states. So yeah, I go with wicked fucking boom. Yeah.
Got it in twice.
Yeah, twice.
Boom,
And then, you know, we founded Card Ladder in 2020, launched, and here we are. Yeah.
Also, I forgot to say something. Jessica Benyo is part of Monster Breaks, and she's been with me since I started my journey at Bleecker. So just big shout out there. She, you know, does a lot of the stuff at Monster. Also, Real Breaks supporting me too. You know, I just had to call you out because, you know, you're in it with me, and big part of it's a Monster card shop opening up.
Yeah, and it's like
The
Jess
women.
said, like there are a lot of people that support you and help you, and you have great mentors like Ty and Mitch, and amazing business partners like Josh and Chris, who like make sure that like, when there is an issue, they stand in front of it.
Yeah.
And that's important, and especially this week. Like being a woman in the hobby hasn't really been that great, but you know, we're still here.
What?
And yeah.
Something happened? No.
But you know, like it is what it is, and like there are decisions that need to be made, and I'm hopeful for the future. And you know, I'm just a collector. Like my gender has nothing to do with my PC, and that's all it is. But you had a second question for the entire group, so let's hear that one again, and then we'll wrap this up. Oh.
So yes, we do. And so my wife was a collegiate soccer player. Her sister was actually Mia Hamm's backup at Carolina. She whipped my butt like a rented goat. I'm telling you, she's a
Rented goat.
Southern sayings. But so I very much agree with Mark, where it's like I want to do this not to say this is your night, just this is the only time we do it. But it's harder again in small towns, not New York City. So we will have women's trade night group meeting here tonight. And my wife and then my partner, David Domson's wife, will run it. And then it's just, can we make sure there is a space here that y'all come in and trade and meet and hang out, and then hope it grows to that. Now, we make it sure that everybody's comfortable in that all the time, of course, for that. But we do focus very much on that in the shop, trying to bring in, and not just, that's why we're doing this shop, but like there's no Spanish-speaking only collection channels. That's why Juan Pablo, I've got doing that for the football roadshow. All Spanish all the time, do it. But it's a little harder when you're in a smaller, less diverse area. So you really have to say, this is for the girls, and work at it, and go and get the word out, and try and get some folks to show. And then you've got to build upon that, right? You have 10 people maybe at the first one, maybe you have 15 at the next, but you got to work when you're not in a big city at creating that space. And luckily we are. But that's what we're trying.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
So my first hire was a female, and I've tried to actively hire into this space, but it's very hard. And I've had 2 hires who haven't turned up to work at all. Like, so they've gone through the whole process, they've been hired, and then another job that they've probably seen as a more comfortable industry to step into, they've decided to take that option. So it's been disappointing in that sense, but we're about to, well, hopefully, we're about to launch our first female entertainer on our channel. She may be doing breaks, but she'll definitely be doing entertainment at the very least.
Yeah. So, ironically, my first hire was also a female, and we promote as a company and have a strong focus on diversity and inclusion. So as part of our hiring process and as part of our employment process, we're actively looking for women to join the card vault team. We're actively growing. We're adding locations, and women are at the forefront of who we're looking for team members. And there are challenges. It has been challenging. It's a tough space to hire women into, but like I said, our first hire was a female, and she's an incredible and has been an incredible asset to the team. And we're looking to add, and ironically enough, we're very close to adding our first female breaker to the Big Night Breaks channel. So we're getting there, but we're by no means we're miles and miles away from where we need to be. And ideas and any ideas that are out there or programs that anybody else has implemented, I'm all ears. We'd love to get a sense of what people are doing, what they've had success with, what's been successful, etc.
Okay, well, this one's gonna be a little long. Sorry, guys. I was at a shop again, 2016. A customer of mine comes in. She buys always New York Knicks stuff and non-sport stuff. And she came in. I was having an argument with my landlord. Long story short, we sat down. She's like, "Are you looking for a partner?" And how I grew up, I would never disrespect a woman in my entire life. My mom was my best friend. And Ty came into my life at that point, and it has been honestly the most amazing 5.5 years to have a person who believes in you, who has taken everything that I've done, everything that I've put together, and go, I got all these ideas, help. And she goes, oh, there's the idea. And she's brilliant. And I can't thank her enough. Every day, we go on trips and we have so much fun, and she's got 2 kids and a wonderful wife, and the kids both call me Uncle Mitch, and I can't say enough about what she's done and all the other women that she's brought into the industry. If you've not met her, please come by the booth. She is an absolute riot and brilliant about marketing. If you've ever seen the Bullpen LA logos everywhere, that is that woman right there. And I wish there was more people, but I love you. You're the best.
And that's a great note to end on.
Real quick.
Okay,
Just want to say this to everybody who's in the hobby. If you guys want to reach out to us. Like, I know Corey from Show Your Slabs, is here. Like there's people they've talked to me and said, hey, what can we do with you? Like breaking, have these girls chat with me. I've been in it for 2 years. I'd love to have conversations. So when it goes back to asking your customers, ask people in the hobby. That's where I've gotten where I am right now. It's just, if you want help doing something, just ask for it. It's scary, but scared money don't make money.
All right. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.